Hello, everyone. Welcome to day 3 of competition in Courchevel, France. Week 1 of the ISU Junior Grand Prix Series. I'm your host, Ted Barton, along with Mark Hanratty. Yesterday, we saw the women really come to the ice in the free program. The men's free program coming up in just a little bit. What do you expect?
Well, the women really delivered, like you said, turned it around from the short program. Let's hope the same happens for the men. We saw triple axels in the women. I think we may see some quadruple jumps today in the men's free skate.
Well, the practice session's just finishing up, but we're going to start with the men's free program starting right now. Well, welcome to the final day of a little heaven on earth here in Courchevel, France. Welcome to the men's free program coming up in just a few moments. A beautiful flyover of this spectacular arena here. I'm Ted Barton, your host, along with Mark Hanratty. Mark, it's been such a delightful 3 days, hasn't it?
It really has, and it's easy to take for granted this amazing location, but you're right, a little bit of heaven and earth in this amazing venue.
Well, we had a really good day yesterday. It was the rhythm dance. Of course, we'll see the free dance a little bit later today. But the women came to the ice, and we were a little bit not concerned, but of course, it was a tough start to the competition on day 1 for the women in the short program. But pretty exciting, especially in the last 2 groups.
Last 2 groups were fantastic, and also good to see some of the athletes now as we look at the judging panel now. Good to see some of the athletes in the venue here again today, supporting the men and the dancers to follow. As we see the technical panel as well, who will be officiating over the men as the 20 skaters take to the ice today for the free skate.
Yeah, no, the women really battled it out, and that was really exciting. We were talking about this, that, you know, and I've often said that I like to go to NHL hockey games. It's really fun, right? But sometimes you go to the local arena and you see a hockey game of, 10-year-olds, and it's really exciting. So it didn't matter what level. It's the same thing here. This is competition. Someone's going to battle to win or on the podium or whatever, and it's always exciting no matter what the standard is. So I always enjoy this.
And I think we're acutely aware that obviously there's a diverse range in the skaters' abilities from lowest to top, but everybody's here to do their absolute best, and we're here to support each of these athletes to try to make personal best and huge improvements moving forward beyond this event as well. Let's
talk a little bit about the last group. You can see them here in the standings, the final group. Both Japanese skater, the Korean skater as well, really quite outstanding.
Absolutely, and we've come to expect that kind of standard and quality from those Asian skaters, the Japanese consistently producing such good quality, and sometimes it's easy again to take for granted what has to go into creating that level of great skating that we can enjoy.
Now let's talk a little bit about the difference between the women's junior category and the men's junior category. My experience has been over the past 7 seasons in juniors is that the women have been a little bit more consistent than the men. Men are going through this growing stage, probably a little earlier, and they get taller and a little bit lankier and a little bit wobblier, if you will, and so they get moments of brilliance and then stumbles here and there and whatnot. So, I feel that the men is a little bit more unpredictable.
Yeah, and we can't hide from what happens naturally in these young bodies, that they develop at different stages, and as you say, growth spurts will be happening, filling out will be happening, and there's so many. That has such a big impact on the body, especially in the free skating event, where any change in the body can have such an impact on the core, and consequently it can feel really bizarre for the athletes when they're trying to jump and their body doesn't feel like their own on occasion.
Well, it's the difference between having landed a jump and actually owning the jump or having the jump. That takes years. You may have said, oh, I've got my triple salchow now. It was the first time you landed it. Doesn't mean you really have it full time, because your body still continues to grow. You're going to get an element, you're going to lose an element because of a bit of a difference in timing.
Because of those variabilities that are still taking place in these athletes as they never, we all grow, and it does have an impact. And so,
well, at my age we shrink, but it's okay. So here we see the first group. Of course, you're going to see a difference in the quality of skating skills as well. We often talk about that, the basis of this sport, and really the same thing with hockey or speed skating, just the basic skating skills, and that just takes many years or hours, thousands of hours, and many of these skaters don't get the same amount of training time. So that's why one of the reasons you'll see the difference.
And actually, on the back of that, interesting, because I was chatting to Jonathan's coach, the Swedish skater here, and they were acknowledging after the short program that during the summer months the rink just closes. That's what happens for so many of these European skaters. The rink closes and they have to outsource or travel further afield to get ice, and so it's not kind of the same playing field in that regard for.
It's not an even playing field.
No,
it isn't, and particularly in the juniors, when you get to the seniors, you're there because you have the coaches, you have the ice time, you've got the support, and you can get there. But the juniors is quite different.
And that's, I suppose, why we do see these centres of excellence and hubs where so many athletes flock to, because often not all of the athletes have had access to that consistent ice time, that multitude of hours available to them, and obviously exposure to other great athletes. So that's why you tend to see so many hubs.
Well, in our country, in my country, in Canada, we have over 1,500 clubs across the country, and around. Let's see, I think we have around 180,000 members, so that's quite big, but it's quite spread out. But how many real training centers do we have? We might have 6 or 7 or 8 that are serious training centers out of all of that, because the type of commitment it takes both off ice and on ice and coaching, and it's completely different than the operation of a club, basic club.
Absolutely, and then we look at some of the skaters that we have in this first group. Dhiyab from the United Arab Emirates, as to how many rinks he has access to. Dillon Judge from Ireland, there's not a rink in Ireland. They have to outsource ice just to be able to train, never mind to train to the level that requires you being competitive here at the Junior Grand Prix.
And we saw 2 skaters from South America, from Peru and Ecuador. Of course, the young woman from Ecuador had very few hours and trains right there in Ecuador. So, it's a growing, the sport is growing globally, which is really exciting. Really exciting, but it's a challenge too because of the facilities and the resources that are required.
So we embrace all those that are going through those challenges, and as you say, just wonderful to see the sport growing, and hopefully that can just continue to develop and develop and develop. And then events like this, the Junior Grand Prix really is opportunity for education, and as they say, education is knowledge is power. So giving some power and autonomy to more sources.
This, in my mind, of course, I'm really biased on what I'm about to say, but this, in my mind, is probably the most important program that the ISU runs. One of the most important programs that they run, because you run the high level, you have to have that. That's certainly something that's natural, but doing something for the juniors, for the development and the betterment of the sport globally is important. It's been an investment by the ISU, and we thank them for that work indeed. Okay, here we go. We have 20 athletes in this event.
And the first skater on this final day of competition here in Courchevel will represent the United Arab Emirates, Dhiyab Aldarmaki.
16 years of age, 20 after the short program, will be skating to September and after the love is gone.
Dhiyab Aldarmaki from the United Arab Emirates. What a fun start, the opening of that program.
Brings back memories. My era, listening to that music, Earth, Wind and Fire, of course. And he had a lot of energy at the beginning of the program, was dancing and rocking out a little bit, and had some great success with his elements. We saw a big improvement from the short program. Got tired.
Definitely got tired. And the beginning was great. Such good choreography, totally appropriate to the music for that September piece at the very beginning. Really on point with the energy, and obviously just towards the end, really fatiguing. And so then, with that in mind, I'm not sure how much the judges can go with them on their presentation because it wasn't committed entirely through the piece, but potential there for sure with the component scores.
No, and a really good experience. We met him a little earlier in the week, and he was a little bit shy. I think this is just the end clip. Let's go here. There we go. There's the
Look
top
at that.
program.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, there he is.
Go on, boy. He's living his best life.
Yeah. And, you know, we talked to him a little bit earlier in the week, and he's a little shy, but not on the ice in the beginning of that program. And I think gaining some confidence and enjoying this whole procedure here. And look at this triple toe loop here. Good flow coming up and under-rotated into single toe, but certainly, you know, stronger performance than the short program, gaining some confidence.
And he did admit that he elected to go a little simplified on the planned program content. He said he can do triple loops, but choosing to simplify a little bit to ensure a cleaner skate as you see him stepping up into the double axel, double toe combination. I think there was intended a double loop at the end of that, but again, electing to go a little simpler.
Just good experience trying these difficult jumps in competition here. No pressure, just, you know, trying to put your best program out there and walk away from this competition with, you know, some positive vibes.
And he did skate at the Coup de Printemps earlier in the year, scoring 51.24 in the free skate at that event. And I think definitely signs of progress and competition experience. He hasn't had much competition experience, but there the slide at the end definitely understands the composition of what that music requires. Joined by Coach Ula in the kiss and cry.
Yeah, what a great experience. You know, you come in these, you probably first time out for some people, not, it's different for everyone, but a little shy and not knowing what to expect and knowing your standard, and then you see the other skaters with really high standard. And how do you feel about that, and how do you make yourself comfortable?
And as we discussed with the women's event, we have to really, really admire the bravery of these skaters going out there, especially knowing they might not be competitive at this stage.
Well, 55.27 for the free program, of course. First skater out of this event with an 82.60 for the competition.
Next to skate from Ireland, Dillon Judge.
Coach Margaret O'Neill sends out Dillon Judge, the 18-year-old representing Ireland in his second Junior Grand Prix season.
62.99 personal best from last season. clearly altitude,
Yeah,
I think, affected Dillon today.
absolutely. And knowing a little bit of the backstory of this athlete, knowing that he does suffer with type 1 diabetes, and having heard from him and his family, knowing how much that impacts upon him and his blood sugar levels, and it is a huge challenge for him to be able to cope with the demands of this sport and the impact, as you can see on his left arm there, patch that he has to wear. And so that's not, as we've discussed, Ted, we're not always conscious of what happens in the lives of these young people. And Dillon, I know, has to take a concoction of medicines every day just to be able to, well, to function, but then also the demands of the sport dictate that there's so much happening to the energy levels and affecting his blood sugars that sometimes makes it just impossible to train at all.
Just an over-rotation there on the triple Salchow. Started out with some, pretty good energy and had a hard time stopping the rotation. Starts out pretty good double axel here and just can't push that free leg back. Clearly, battling. There's a good work on the triple Salchow double toe loop. And when you don't feel totally in control of your body, it gets just a little shaky, and then you doubt yourself. And
I think, like all these athletes, Dillon has a desperate desire to be a really strong skater. And as you say, then when that doubt settles in, it can really, we're talking about teenagers here who have insecurities at the best of time, to then putting yourself under pressure, knowing you don't feel at your best, it can be challenging.
And he's strong. He's physically really strong. You can see in the takeoffs, gets good air and a nice tight position in the end, and maybe doesn't use as much push out, check out, if you will, on the elements at this moment. But let's take a look at the free program scores for Dillon. But certainly he knows he can do better, wants to do better. 48.43 at second in the free program. Has the ability to really improve there. We'll see what happens the rest of the season. 83.53, and that'll put Dillon currently in first place, second skater out in this event.
Next to skate from Great Britain, Bray.
Conor Bray from Britain suffered an injury whilst here, but he's received treatment from the physiotherapist from the Canadian team to help him take to the ice now for his free skate.
And Conor going to skate his free program this afternoon to Hidden by Naoki Sato.
some excellent quality on the triple salchow and the triple toes within the program from Conor Bray from Great Britain.
Really good speed throughout the program, good coordination on his takeoffs. His body was coordinated, really good timing on that. A lot of basic skating between the elements. There's not a lot of transitions or edge work yet at this stage, focused mostly on the technical jumps. But that's his current stage of development.
Absolutely, and spoke with his coaches, Nikolai and Irina, just before the event, who said that he had been injured yesterday and was struggling with his right ankle, I think, and they're particularly grateful and appreciative to the Canadian physiotherapists who helped them to be able to get Conor to compete today in the free skate.
Well, he did a good job for that. If he's slightly injured, did a nice job, good technique, and we'll take a look at some of the elements here. Here's the double axel. Good momentum across the ice. Nice strong back on the landing of soft knees. Let's take a look here at the Lutz. And lands forward. That's just a real awkward type of fall when you're landing forward and hit your toe picks. Comes back up though and gets a nice triple salchow, double toe loop done. Really nice.
Great flow on the between the combination and on the landing. The same here. You can see length and lovely back outside edge, making judges forced to go higher on the grade of execution.
There's a triple salchow taking off on a lean, but he manages to keep the feet on it underneath him.
And interesting is his planned program content was to include triple axel, so you have to assume that the good jump technique we see here on that triple toe is indicative of him being able to do more difficult technical elements. Just maybe the injury preventing him from being able to consider that here in Courchevel.
Yeah, you can clearly see that from a jump technique perspective, it's all pretty well coordinated. It's timing off a little bit here and there, but the basics are there.
You wouldn't be surprised to hear that that athlete could consider quad toe based on the quality of the triple.
Absolutely, and that's looking underneath the surface always of these skaters. What we do in the juniors is the basic skill level there. Certainly it is with this young man.
And Conor, 19 years old, will be moving up to the senior ranks next season, eager to exploit the opportunities that competing on the Junior Grand Prix offers.
Well, 77.45 for the free program. That's first so far in the free with a total competition score of 118.51. And Conor takes over the lead overall for the moment.
180.51, which brings him currently in first place. Next to stage.
We saw some brilliant skating from the women's entrant from Israel yesterday, and now it's turn for 15-year-old Leonid Gitelman.
First Junior Grand Prix season, skating the free program to the famine.
Leonid Gitelman from Israel. As we said, he had his birthday on Wednesday, just turning 15, so one of the youngest skaters in the men's competition.
This was a good skate.
Yeah.
I believe for him, because we watched him throughout the week and little inconsistency, but he did some nice triple flips. Had some good power and speed and flow throughout the technical elements. Lots and lots of work yet to do with connecting to the music and body line a little bit and all that type of detail. Pretty good spins as well. So basically, that was a success, a good success. First time out in the Junior Grand Prix this season.
And as we saw with Conor Bray from Great Britain, certainly a jump technique that will lend itself to more rotations. So there, the opening double axel has the potential for triple axel, and I'm sure he'll be working on that with his coaches. And this flip, lots of elevation on that flip.
A little bit over rotation, of course, on a big lean as well. So, but it comes right back down the ice.
And this better than in practice. The Lutz was an issue in practice, bit of a change of edge on takeoff,
but nice and clean on the landing. And coming up, following this up with good flow on this triple loop takeoff there, right on top, little bit of lean on there, tight landing circle, and next element up this triple flip.
And
much
that,
better,
yeah,
double toe loop.
Great to see that later. Having had a difficult fall on the first flip, impressive to see him come back and put that in combination later on.
And just worked his way through this program. There's the double axel, triple salchow was a bit of a problem. He finished it up with a really nice triple loop after, which I didn't take. And here's the change to spin at the end of the program in at a level 3. So missing one of the features. Nice position there, nice and low, nicely centered.
And for Leonid, Israel has had some success in the men's event. Alexei Bychenko, 2016 was a great year for Israeli men's skating. They're the junior world champion, Daniel Simon, and a European silver medalist in Bychenko. But now Bychenko's retired, and Leonid, I'm sure, will be looking to take over the mantle and lead Israeli men's skating moving forward.
Well, there's certainly some good basics there and good technique. And you can see all the men so far breathing really heavy at the end of that program. Yeah, altitude getting to them all at this point. Let's take a look at the free program scores for Leonid. 87.22, that's first in the free program so far. With a 132.89 for the competition, and Leonid Gitelman of Israel takes over the lead.
Which makes him currently in first place.
So the next skater had 3 falls in this short program and thus finds himself in this bottom group. However, Jonathan Egyptson from Sweden has a lot to offer, including a triple axel, which we hope to see.
93.86 personal best last season right here in Courchevel, skating to Prince.
visibly gasping for air for Jonathan from Sweden. But to me, so much to admire. I love the music, and interesting to see on his ISU biography that Jonathan is choreographer, and you could really see him getting into particularly the midsection, the Let's Go Crazy by Prince piece. And
he's got good, really good basic skating skills, so you're comfortable watching him because you're confident that he's not thinking about just the basic skating. The elements, some were really well done and some were a little bit off, but overall this is a really well-skilled young man with a bright future, and the fact that he does his own choreography, he's creative, he wants to create something, and he's committed to what the program is about.
Absolutely, and his coach Tamara, who's greeting him, was explaining that in Sweden they just don't have access to ice in the summer, so we're seeing somebody now coming out to compete who maybe hasn't had a chance to train consistently on the ice.
Here's a look at the triple flip. A little forward on the landing, but the mechanics are really good. The triple Tolu fought for it, gets around, maybe under-rotated. It is in the system. Here's the double axel. It brings nice momentum into the Euler. A little step over there and up into the double Salchow. You can see that free leg come up a little bit and prevent him from doing the triple. But this sit spin, chain sit spin here. Watch the change of edge right there. It goes to forward, outside. You see the foot going forward. Now he changes to the back. Right here. Nice and low, nicely centered.
And they're stepping up into triple loop. You can see the fatigue just started to set in. But this was great. And you can see his coach smiling in the background. You can't help but smile when you see an athlete getting into the music, and that's what judges want to see when it comes to this, the composition and the presentation of the program.
Particularly in juniors, because that is usually the last thing to get developed, is the commitment to the music and the confidence to perform.
And I think his training environment has obviously encouraged Jonathan to indulge in his own natural ability to perform and to express musically. Sometimes the coaches will assign a choreographer to the athlete, thinking that's a necessity, but even better if the skater can get involved himself at this early stage of development. You can see just there the impact.
Just gathering the breath, yeah. Every one of the athletes so far like that.
But I think loads to admire. It reminds me, there's a brilliant performance by Rohin Ward, a fantastic American skater that used this piece.
And Rohin, incredible.
And I wonder if Jonathan's drawn some inspiration from that.
Free program scores for Jonathan, 91.04. That is first at the free program. And a total competition score of 137.11. That'll put Jonathan currently into first place. There's a look at your top 5 skaters so far in the competition first group.
The following skaters will now take the ice for a 6 minutes warm-up. From Kazakhstan, Oleg Melnikov.
Okay, Mr. Q&A man. As we go to the group, there's a look at the standings so far after group number 1. Group number 2 taking the ice for their 6-minute warm-up, and now we will move to the questions sent in from viewers around the world. It's like a game show, and you're the host.
Oh, yeah, happy days. I'm glad to be the host. Yeah, grateful for the questions that are coming in on the social media channels, on the International Skating Union's feeds. And the first from @the Maipling. Aren't there any pairs in the Junior Grand Prix? And although no pairs here in Courchevel, we can look forward to seeing pairs at some of the other Junior Grand Prix destinations and locations, and I think indeed in Ostrava next week we'll have a pairs event.
Yes, out of the 7 Junior Grand Prix events, 4 of them will host pair events. They're not in all of those competitions, so there's less pair teams around the world, no question, and the ISU is doing a good job in trying to host seminars on pair skating to get more nations involved in that discipline. The sport is specialized, but that discipline is very specialized. Because how do you get there? You don't start in pair skating. You start to learn to skate, and then you start to single to skate, and then you may move to dance or to pair skating. The pair skaters are a unique brand, a unique breed, I would say. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in an incredible way.
Oh,
because
absolutely.
the young women that do pair skating is extraordinary, the skills that they require, not only in skating, but in just raw courage and I want to be in the air, throw me as far as you can type of thing. And that's rare. So there are less participants at this moment, but growing, hopefully.
Oh, yeah. I totally agree with you on that score regarding the pairs women. They are an incredible breed of human that can show such bravery and strength.
And I think one of the finest athletes, really, in the world in women's sports. But that's just a personal opinion.
No,
Next
I
question.
agree
We
with
better
you.
get off this. We're going to go down the rabbit hole too deep.
Okie dokie. So coming in, why are, from at Lisa B 1972, why are the Junior Grand Prix mostly in Europe?
Well, that's a good question, but you know, let's go through the process here. That countries bid to host a competition, so everybody has equal opportunity for that. Taking that into consideration, you know, most of the members of the ISU are situated within Europe, the larger number, of course. So they're generally speaking, not in the last 2 years because of COVID and whatnot, generally speaking, there would be, out of the 7 competitions, 1 in North America or 1 in Asia. The last one was supposed to be in Harbin, China, but COVID came along and couldn't be hosted there. And so I would imagine next season there would be one in either Asia or in North America. So, but just naturally speaking, and it's costly for skaters and federations to travel their kids all around the world. So most of the skaters are in Europe. So it's generally hosted here, but not always.
And amazing to see behind the scenes the huge operation that goes into producing and creating this Junior Grand Prix. So many people involved, from the Swiss timing, from the production, the judges. It's a massive operation.
Well, for 7 years we've been traveling around the world, and we have to pick up all of our equipment and ship it over to Australia and Brisbane. We did, of course, that was really wonderful, or to Yokohama, or to, you know, Saransk, or wherever around the world is a big operation to pack up the Swiss timing scoring system, the production system, and all the athletes. So it is not simple.
Yeah, we just get to enjoy watching these amazing skaters, but a lot goes on behind the scenes as well. Next question from Majorovas 28. Do you have a regular favorite, or do you choose a new favorite each season? Now, I don't know on this, Ted.
Does that mean skater?
A skater, new favorite skater. I feel like as commentators,
restaurants I could answer, but skater, no.
Can we have favorites?
Well, when it's really, boy, my mind's going, okay, slow down here, boy. Think about what you're going to say here. You know, we're all human, so you gravitate to something that is special or touches your heart. It could be just a story. It could be a skater coming from a developing skating country. All sorts of different things. I had special moments, I will say that. Remember, an Indian skater back in Yokohama was so special because he could barely do an axel, but he always had a smile on his face, and he was on the ice with these Japanese skaters going, and they were so supportive of him.
Oh, amazing.
That was a special, special moment in the Junior Grand Prix. So I don't necessarily have a favorite skater. Those some skaters are just give you chills, and we might see that in the ice stand.
Yeah.
Talked about that earlier. So I wouldn't say favorite skater. I would say talk about favorite moments.
Absolutely, and I think we celebrate and admire the technical achievements of the athletes, but sometimes when a skater can move you and make you feel something emotively, which is one of the most beautiful aspects of our sport, is that it can transcend just technicality and physicality. It can have an emotive aspect as well, and I think probably, you know, for most of us, we remember those moments. And
Just human aspect. You know.
yeah, absolutely. And, oh, listen to this one, Ted, from at PinkyHand95. Have you two practiced together? You seem to already have a great coordination and rhythm. Cheers.
No, we have not practiced together, but Mark was a little concerned about the wardrobe. So he was afraid to ask me, what are you wearing? Right? So he didn't say it at all. And I said, well, let's in the opening wear a shirt and ties. Oh, thank God you asked. Thank God you asked.
Yeah, my suitcase was prepared for all eventualities.
No, but Mark has a wonderful personality, a great sense of humor, and I really respect his knowledge and timing and care for the athlete and for the broadcast. So I think we just sort of naturally, you know, was easy to work with.
I think we have a mutual love and respect for the sport and the athletes.
Absolutely. And now we're safe from that question. I think the gentlemen are clearing the ice as we get a last butterfly in here. and we get going on group number 2. But good questions, and thank you so much for the viewers around the world. Keep asking them. They give us content, they give you information, and we certainly have a lot of fun with those.
And the next athlete from Kazakhstan, Oleg Melnikov, had issues and negative grade of execution on all 3 jumping passes in this short program.
Strong skater, no question, 8.63, earning that last year in Krasnoyarsk in the Junior Grand Prix. 17 years old, 15th after the short program. Second Junior Grand Prix season. Will be skating the free to the diamond arm.
We really feel for Oleg Melnikov from Kazakhstan. He started with the double axel that was better than the short program, but unfortunately all the remaining jump elements have a negative grade of execution, and this no reflection of his potential.
Well, this young man is very, very strong, but he's not controlled. And I remember when I watched him skate, oh my gosh, I remember this in myself, because I figured I was strong. I told you I played rugby. I was with same time. So I think, oh, go faster, throw your body higher, just swing yourself around, and you'll do it. But you don't. It's about technique and timing, and you don't need as much strength as you think you do. And so that's what happened here. Is a nice spread eagle into the double axel. So good start, nice twizzle off the top there. But the landings, he puts a lot of energy to the takeoff, and the landings are not controlled. You have to keep that back nice and straight and strong. Just punch that free leg back. But good technique on the takeoffs, no problem there. And manages to hang on and does a single toe loop. Double axel goes up for that, but that doesn't work out as well.
It's like good control on takeoff. Takeoffs are good, and then looks reactive to landing rather than
hasn't learned
preparation
about the landing yet, but certainly the mechanics of the you could see him blow. Oh boy, yeah. After that element,
oof.
He's trying to find a way because he can get the takeoffs. There's the triple loop into the double toe loop fall. And he's going, oh come on,
cut me some slack here, guys. I did the loop, the hard part.
So the skill is there. The coordination and the control is not. Beautiful camel spin, nice change of edge right there.
And within the context of the program, he had the amazing cantilever spread eagle, had a good spiral positions within the choreography sequence, the donut feature, and even here you can see in the sit spin demonstrating a range of flexibility that isn't as commonly seen with the men as he pulls up into this I spin feature. So has some capabilities that not all do, but
yeah, and I encourage people who are watching to look past the falls. Okay, you saw them. There's 5 of them. It's pretty clear. But are the basic mechanics there? Yes, they are. They're just not controlled at this point. So, you know, there's some good news here. Strong, good timing, good technique on takeoffs. Really doesn't have the feeling for the checkout yet, and that hopefully will come in time. And nice spins as well.
And whatever is posted here as a score could, in not too distant future, could be seismically different because of the potential.
Absolutely. You land all those jumps, big difference in the score, obviously. Let's take a look at that score, 76.09. That's 4th in the free program with a competition score of 122.82, and that puts Oleg currently into 3rd place.
Oleg's competition total score is 122.82, which brings him currently in 3rd place.
The first of the French skaters competing. I think we have 3 men in the men's event, 3 dance teams, and Axel Ahmed starts proceedings.
Well, 75.70, his personal best in the free program last season, week 2 of Courchevel. And today, here in week 1, he will be skating to the impossible dream.
The impossible dream, to find the unbeatable foe, to bear with unbearable sorrow, and to run where the brave dare not go. To ride the unrideable wrong, and to love pure and chaste from afar.
Axel Ahmed, the first of the French skaters competing here. And you can see, like so many of the others, reacting to the altitude. You know, we can't stress how much of an impact that can have on the skaters towards the end of the program. Less oxygen and the lactic buildup on their legs going to start so much earlier than it might when they're at sea level.
And another skater that has lots of ability and strength, but maybe not as much control. That's normal in the junior category. You're just learning how, you got all the strength now and you're learning how to use it, when to use it.
And Axel is 18 years of age, but you know, looks very much the man. And maybe he has had that recent growth spurt and come to terms with a new center, a new rotational center when he's coming to rotate here. You can see as he steps up now. And that, the triple lutz.
Nice fight to hang on to that landing. So we take a look, here's the triple loop. Good speed off that back edge, but again, forward on the landing. You know, it's easy, not easy, but you learn the takeoff first because it comes first on a jump. And then you learn to rotate because that comes second on the jump. And the last thing you learn is about how to check out, how to stop that rotation. And that's a challenge out there on that triple salchow, landing forward. And that is where the points are gained on the landing.
Absolutely, and so much of the grade of execution is dependent. This was great, though, using the windmill as a feature, and that gets a level feature if the technical panel deem it worthy. Doesn't get any more points than doing perhaps a simpler variation, but the judges do have a bullet point for creative or original.
It's effective.
Yeah.
Especially if it works with the music.
Yeah.
And this is where this leg gets a little lower than the hip, particularly on the next camel spin. Then it's debatable to see and hear change camel spin is a level 2. You got a level 2 on this, but look at the free leg. It's really quite low.
I think the technical panel will reveal it a bit.
Yeah.
Favorable there. Difficult exit.
And that double axel hanging on to that at the end of the program. A good fight.
Just like you say, it's the landing where the grades of execution are so decided. And so I'm sure Axel and Laurent Depuy, who he's with, will know his area for improvement there.
The free program scores for Axel Ahmed from France, 83.70. That's third in the free program so far, with a total competition score of 134.61, and that'll put Axel currently into second place. And there's a look at your leaderboard, top 5 skaters so far in this event.
Next to skate from Turkey, Efe Ergin Dincer.
16 years old from Turkey. Efe Ergin Dincer takes to the ice.
82.55 personal best last season in the Cup of Austria. He's skating the free program here, second Junior Grand Prix season, skating to Angels and Demons.
from Turkey, Efe Ergin Dincer.
Well, interesting, you know, a little up and down in the program, got a little tired part way through, and you can see a loss of balance in just the basic skating when you get fatigued. We can't stress enough when we talk about altitude, but what does that do? It takes the coordination and the ability to control your muscles like you can, because you're not getting enough oxygen, and so you're straining, you're hurting, and you don't have control, and somebody else is driving the bus here, so it's difficult.
And I was actually just thinking, as if I was skating, you know, if the fans and the viewers around the world don't know what it's like to do at least 3.5 minutes of skating at this level, you wouldn't really want to admire all of the men now.
Well, who does a 3.5-minute shift in hockey? You don't. You do a 30-second shift in hockey. So this is extraordinarily difficult. There's the triple Lutz Euler, nice Euler on that, up into the double Salchow. So that was well executed.
Open air position in all of the triples, potentially suggesting that there's room for more. You can see the free leg.
Yeah, that free leg is riding pretty high up, and that slows the rotation down. He's strong enough to get high enough to get around, but if you're wanting quad or higher GOE, you're going to need to tighten that position up. And you can see that legs, space between the legs and the feet not tucked together, but that can improve in time.
And for me, Ted, just
watch
really,
the edge right there. Sorry, the forward edge. I just wanted to point that out, back inside the forward, outside. Go ahead, Mark.
Just really conscious that transitionally within the composition of the program, not a huge amount for the judges to latch onto to bolster that score. So the judges looking for various different criteria in which to give that first component score a higher point value.
That was his best jump of the program. That double axel was just lovely. Angels and Demons, you know, difficult to interpret. It's a powerful, driving music.
The costume with the back, the wings on the back, he's definitely got the demon and the angel on his back within the costume, but not necessarily something that you might sense in the connection between and within the elements in the composition. But as we've said, at this point in time, his focus has been on getting the technical elements down.
So interesting to watch the development, all different stages of development. Let's take a look at the free program scores for Efe Ergin Dincer from Turkey. And you can see in the kiss and cry, once they catch their breath and get a little bit more oxygen, they settle down a little bit. 83.67, that's fourth in the free program. And they're going, not too bad, that's okay. That's okay. And with a 134.72, that will put him currently in second place.
High five from Coach Keegan as David Lee takes to the ice with his Canadian teammates giving him the best of support and encouragement.
This young man, his first time out, so it's a newer experience, and he's just learning all the technical elements. He has terrific personality. You may or may not see that in this program, Skating to La Boheme, but he's got lots of skill and a bright future. Let's see what happens here in the free.
Wonderful choreography, and we said, are we allowed to have favorite skaters, Ted? I mean, we talked then about emotion and making you feel something. David Lee, at the beginning of that program, oozed joy, abundant joy, and made me feel good, and I'm grateful for what he and the team have offered here. Just a shame, obviously, latter half of the program didn't match technically to the component scores that were so good.
Well, I've watched this young man develop since he was just a little boy, and he always had this outstanding personality. Now he's starting to mature and still keep that personality while he's learning the difficult elements. And so we're seeing a really good combination, a marriage, if you will, between technical and performance.
Look at that.
Just charming. Partway through the program, near the end, got a little tired, of course, as all of the skaters have done so far. There's the triple flip. There we go, all the way around, nice and clean in the judging system as well. And the triple Lutz, he missed this in the short program, but carries good momentum back up over the pick. Nicely done into the double toe loop. Well on his way to a good program here. And there's the triple toe loop, no problem as well, into.
This was a good example of the clear increase of speed, which is one of the new features that's required to get a level 4 and maintain that speed throughout. But we saw in training, as we look now to the axle, I'm sure that a lot of work will be done on the takeoff of that double axle as he looks towards making that a triple.
And here's near the end of the program, just tired at this point, just couldn't check that jump out.
What a shame. This was gorgeous, that Ina Bauer. And look at that projection and expression. The best that we've seen in that criteria for sure. And we saw in practice this week, a definite work on the skating skills as well. So mindful of all aspects of the skater that's been created between he and his coaching team.
And good flexibility as well. A really nice job by this young man. Experience gained, and I think he'll be excited to get back and work on the areas that he needs to improve on, that he's seen and witnessed here from other skaters. That's kind of his half smile, right? He kind of wants to smile, but he's not quite sure. Here we go. Pre-program scores for David Lee. Sir David Lee from Vancouver, 103.47. Really good score for David. Keegan and David happy with that. That's first in the pre-program. 154.74 as David takes over the lead.
Love that. Love the reaction. Love the joy.
And that program components, I think, helped him a lot in that area.
Next to state from Italy, Tommaso Barison.
17-year-old from Italy, Trento, Tommaso Barison.
Needs a 102.86 to take over the lead as he skates to Queen.
Tommaso Barison from Italy.
He really changed the program for the content. We were looking at the content list and I'm going, wait a minute, okay, you know.
Swapping and changing.
Oh, he swapped up a lot, yeah. It was on the go thinking for sure. I didn't see the choreographic sequence, did you?
No, I didn't. It certainly wasn't visible enough to make it. It was put in by the system, and that's new this season, choreographic sequence in place of a step sequence, and the criteria requesting the skater and the choreographer input to visible skating moves, so that's why we're seeing more spirals, more spread eagles than in previous years.
There's the double axe off the top of the program. Really good speed and ice coverage in the air, and nice flow as well. And up next here is the triple lutz. You can see a big preparation. There's the outside edge. Good strong outside edge on that takeoff up into the double toe loop. So that was a nice combination.
Good quality.
Yeah. And here's the right leg lifting up into the triple salto. Great height and ice coverage in the air.
Slipped the takeoff there.
Yeah, slipped on the toe. Just an awkward fall after a nice foul.
And so hard then, after that kind of frustrating fall and a relatively easy jump to double toe, to then carry on the program. You can see did well to recover from being off axis on that triple toe. Didn't put it in combination. I think that's where he started to reconsider the program construction and what elements were going to be used. And again, just tight on the back outside edge of that, the loop. So a little difficult to get the higher grade of execution when the landings aren't sustained.
And it's difficult to think during the program. The more that you have to reorder your things and think, what have I got, what do I need, the more it takes your concentration away from what you've got to do. And that's why coaches train, like, don't change the program, right? Maybe at seniors you have the experience to do so periodically, but
can't rely on your training if the changes happen. That was cool, difficult exit coming out of the spin, but
and at the end of that program, if I was down on the knees like that, I
wouldn't get back up.
Absolutely.
And I think Tommaso is on the brink of seniors, and I'm sure his training time. Oh, he must be perhaps member of the police. Yeah, on the brink of triple X, I'm sure.
Yes, absolutely. 90.24 for Tommaso. That's third in the free program. Total competition score of 142.13. That'll put Tommaso currently into second place overall at the end of group number 2. And there's a look at your leaderboard so far in the competition. Okay, it's movie time. During the ice resurfacing, we play back some ISU videos. Mark, what do we got?
Yeah, get your popcorn ready. We're going to be treated to more of the Elements Explained series from the International Skating Union, and we'll be heading to Detroit, one of the centers of excellence, to have a look at some of the flying entries into the spins. We'll look first at the death drop, and then on to the flying sit spin. And after those videos, stay tuned to watch more about the World Ice Skating Day. If you didn't see the coverage over the last couple of days, the International Skating Union has this new initiative to celebrate skating around the globe, and that will take place on the 4th of December later this year.
Okay, we'll take a short break during the ice resurfacing. Hope you enjoyed the videos. Stay with us. We'll be back right after this.
Welcome to the ISU Center of Excellence. My name is Julie Berlin, and I'm from the Detroit Skating Club in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. Today, I have my skater, Amelia, demonstrating a death drop. When practicing this element, we need to see a nice arc of lift through the left leg with a big kick behind, following by the right kick as well before you come down into a sit position within 2 turns. On the death drop flying spin, we like to see a nice arc in the frontal hook entry. And to achieve that, you have to have good power from the left leg and explode up into a flat position, left leg and then right leg, so that your whole body is almost facing down. Therefore, that's how we get the name the death drop. The goal is to land this sit spin within 2 turns into a nice tight sit spin, and hopefully achieve some additional features if you're in the more advanced level, which could achieve up to a level 4. Once you've achieved this difficult flying entry, your next step would be to try to add features to make it a higher level spin. Another option for the death drop is to use it as an entry into a combination spin, which would then be counted as an additional feature to work towards level 1, 2, 3, or 4. Hopefully this tutorial has helped you to understand the death drop and how to use it in competition to improve your score. I hope this has been helpful. I wish you the best of luck in your training and to enjoy figure skating as much as we do.
Hello, welcome to the ISU Center of Excellence. My name is Gabe Woodruff from the Detroit Skating Club in Michigan, and I'm here to help you guys through the flying sit spin. Our 2 main ingredients for a successful flying sit spin are the jump height and the position in the air. First and foremost, in order to incorporate the fly, we first have to master the proper sit spin position, meaning nice and low, quads parallel to the ice, pressing the ball of that foot down, and squeezing your body nice and firm. A great exercise I use before the skater even attempts the element is right here on the boards. This enables them to feel that tuck actual sit position in the air before they actually apply it in the spin. After you have mastered a very low, firm, proper sit spin position, you need to incorporate the jump height, which means getting low in that skating leg, creating a nice curve just like you would do for your plain sit spin, and exploding out of that left knee in a firm, basic sit spin position. As you saw in the video, there were difficult variations performed on the landing of the sit spin, which is only possible with the proper technique of the fly and the proper technique of the position in the air. Once those are mastered, then the variations are able to be performed. Lots of hard work and patience. I hope those tools will prove helpful in your quest for a successful flying sit spin.
You know, so I just think the whole package of that was my favorite performance. There were some other really nice ones as well, but that was my favorite.
Absolutely, a very all-rounded skater, both technically and in the components. And then next up, from @Princess_Nikachi, will Mark accompany Ted for all the Junior Grand Prix events?
And that's a perfect question because, you know, we're doing some really interesting things this year. It's great to have Mark on board. And I think Mark, you would have been at all of them. You have some engagements that you have to go to, of course. But what will happen from here on in is Mark will fly over to Ostrava, and he will handle that on his own. So I've got an event I have to handle in Canada. And then in Riga, Mark will continue on to Riga. He'll be rinkside there, and I will be in my studio in Vancouver. So we will be working together, one in Canada and one in Riga live. And that will be the first time we've ever done that. We're really looking forward to that both technical challenge, and we're going to have some fun.
You're looking forward to it.
No, we're going to have some fun with that, and we'll take some video of where I am at and where Mark is at. And then there's a week off. I will be flying to Yerevan. That's a long 32-hour trip for me. And Mark will not be there. I'll be handling that on my own, and then we will move forward to Gdansk. You'll be there in week 1 in Gdansk. We'll both be
reunited in Gdansk.
Reunited. We're looking forward to that. Week 2, I'll be in Gdansk, and Mark will be a remote broadcast back in Birmingham or London, or wherever you go.
Back in Nottingham, the Midlands.
Nottingham.
Yes.
And Robin Hood will be there, Will.
Absolutely, he'll be right there, and hopefully he'll help me out with the technicalities, which are making me anxious as well.
I'm interested about Friar Tuck. I want to know more. Okay, we digress.
Deviate.
And then I will be moving on to Egna for the final week of competition. I'll be handling that myself. So a little bit of both, and technology, and together I like working right here at the rinkside with Mark. That's a lot of fun, of course. But we're experimenting and seeing how the sport can be covered, both with technology, with 2 people. Of course, it's way easier with 2 people than handling it yourself. And good luck next week, right? So
I'm already trying to prep for next week ahead of the multitude of skaters that we'll get to enjoy performing in Ostrava.
So hopefully that answers your questions.
So next up on Instagram, from @X_Maxkey_X. What's your favorite event to watch? And I think we had this question perhaps earlier in Courchevel online as well. And I think you spoke about it so beautifully, Ted, that you appreciate all of the disciplines and what they offer.
Yeah, and I'm not saying this to be politically correct, because I'm trying to really take a choice here. And when I think about it, I've just been inspired and given chills in every one of those events, and not necessarily at, here at Courchevel, but I'm talking about over time, that pairs bring something absolutely, it's incredible pair skating. People don't really know or appreciate enough about that. It is unbelievable what the man has to go through, and the woman, and the attributes and characteristics that are required for that. And then a dance, that's just the most entertaining. I just absolutely love the emotion, the passion. And the difficulty is you have to dig down deep, but it's not easy to do what they're doing. They make it look easy. It isn't. And of course, the women's is so competitive around the world, and the men's is just, bravado. It's fantastic what they do. So really, I don't have a favorite. I enjoy them all. But you can get at a competition where the dance, where they perform better than the men, or the men perform better than the women, or whatever the case may be. But
I think the wonderful thing is that competition pushes athletes, coaches, and choreographers forward to achieve more and more and more, and it's the competition which is creating brilliance amongst all 4 disciplines.
Yeah.
And
good point.
No, this one's fun. How difficult is it to refrain from commenting on mic immediately?
I think you should answer that question.
Well, I think everybody here, normally when I'm commentating, I am alone in a commentary booth, and I can gesture and gesticulate as much as I want, but here we're surrounded by a wonderful team of people who are now getting an insight into my reactions to each of the performances, and unfortunately I can't hold back from getting a little bit too excited. So it's probably best for me that the mic is off during the performances until I can compose myself to talk.
Well, first of all, in the Junior Grand Prix, we don't commentate during the performance. And, after the performance has happened, of course, much depends on how successful or not successful that was. And sometimes silence says everything. So it's a difficult choice. Here we go. group number 3 in the men's free program from Courchevel.
On the ice from Finland, Makar Suntsev.
So starting the penultimate group here in France, Makar Suntsev from Finland.
124.87, a good score, earning that last season in the Golden Spin competition in Zagreb. Makar will skate the free program here in Courchevel to the music of Philip Glass.
Makar Suntsev from Finland. And Makar brings to the competition a senior aesthetic. Good look across the ice, but unfortunately, again, like some of the others that we've seen so far, just too many mistakes and seemed a little off axis, stepping out.
You know, early in the season, Mark, they're trying to find their balance, their natural balance, and when you're searching for it, you over-search for it one way, then you search for it back the other way, and too far that, and then you just go back and forth until you settle into it. And it takes, really a couple months in the competitive season to get comfortable that you don't have to think about it. It just naturally happens. And one mistake stays at one mistake. But here we're seeing multiple.
Absolutely. And the skaters, first of all, learn their jump technique. And I'm sure many of these skaters can all cleanly perform the elements in their planned program content in isolation. But new programs affect their preparation and their energy levels. And you can see here loads of speed going into the opening triple lutz. But that step out forcing the judges to go down on GOE.
And the hand touching the ice as well. And as we look here at the triple loop, a little bit off axis. You can see him just searching to find that axis for rotation in the jumps, and never did really find it consistently throughout this program. And here's a look at the flying camel spin. Nice turnout, good extension, good speed. You're looking at it slow motion. There's the change of edge to the forward inside.
Don't quite think they've got that feature on the forward inside edge. Not a consistent number of rotations, staying on the edge. So difficult. And again, as we've said, one of the new required features for level 4 to try.
Beautiful spread eagle here. Just look at the flow, that beautiful position. And then the triple flip. And again, under-rotated, breaks in the air, looked good on the takeoff, but just didn't stay committed to the rotation position. Here's the double axel. A little forward on the landing, but you're struggling with something on every element.
And you make a great point, Ted, about as this season progresses, the comfort will build, and the skaters, the majority of skaters, will change their program every season, and they'll work on new choreography in the off-season. In this instance, Makar works with Benoit Richaud, who's a choreographer to the senior women's world champion Kaori Sakamoto. And in the process of creating new choreography, which is fun and exciting, it has an impact upon the skaters' timing and physical energy levels when they come to compete, because it can be so exhausting when demanding more intricacy and transitions between elements.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's take a look at the scores for the free program for Makar Suntsev. Finland 94.37. That puts Makar into second place in the free program with a total competition score of 147.30. And that'll put Makar overall also into second place.
Lucius Kazanecki from the United States of America looks to try and follow in the footsteps in his future as the reigning junior world champion Ilya Malinin.
Well, ninth after the short program, first junior Grand Prix season. He needs a 99.30 to take the lead. Well, Lucius will skate to build home.
Lucius Kazanecki from America, and struck by the mental tenacity and strength by this young man. It seemed he had great self-belief. There was one mistake on the triple toe, but I felt confident in his self-belief going into the majority of these other elements.
Well, the music aided in his calmness because it was a calm piece of music and allowed him to just stay within that timing, if you will, and the calmness of the voice, and take the elements one thing at a time and not get rushed by the music. Quite often you can have a brilliant piece of music that's pushing you, especially if you get behind and make a mistake, then you're panicking all the way through. That was not the case here. Stayed completely within the program and really well delivered.
Yeah, one of my favorite pieces, To Build a Home by the Cinematic Orchestra. Beautiful piece of music.
Here's this opening triple Lutz, hands over the head, a little scratchy in the landing. That's okay, but he pushes himself up to get the triple toe loop and steps out of that, of course, but didn't really let that bother him throughout the program. Here's a nice Choctaw step coming into the triple loop. There it is. Wants to carry maybe a little bit more flow in the landings, Mark. You know, just keep away from the toe picks. That will come in time, part of the process of development. There's the flip into the Euler and pushes up.
Yeah.
Triple Salchow. I had to work at that, but having more flow will help.
Absolutely, and that's where I could really see his conviction. Other skaters wouldn't have gone for that triple Salchow, but he had enough self-belief to go for it.
And you saw that chip of ice on that Lutz just come out of the ice.
Good rotational speed, very efficient in the air.
Nice and straight and tight and strong, absolutely.
Moving forward, I'm sure Lucius and his team will be working on considering the triple axel to add that increased technical element, score difficulty. And for me, the program component score is still some natural development needed there.
Yeah, I agree. I think the music choice was good. I don't know if they really connected with that emotion of the voice yet. But hey, this juniors, and you're just trying to get the elements done.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you know, totally no problem on that.
The music, wonderful example of that, To Build a Home by Olympic ice dance champions in the past when they used it, Papadakis and Cizeron, and they had wonderful storytelling behind it. And that's what judges want. An expressiveness and a projection and a connection to the music too. Something for him to build on, but a really, really great showing here for Lucius Kazanecki.
Yeah, really good. He sets up the season really well. You know, mission accomplished, and knowing the chart of the items on your chart that you want to improve as you move through the season. Let's take a look at the free program scores for Lucius. A 112.40. That's first in the free program, so that's solid. 2 thumbs up from the coach. 167.85 as Lucius Kazanecki from the United States takes over the lead.
167.85, which brings me currently in first place.
And the next skater from Slovakia, Adam Hagara. He is a senior national champion of his nation as well.
Well, 108.21 personal best for Adam last season at the Olympic Winter Game qualifying in the Nebelhorn Trophy. That's a big score, and wanting to have that here this afternoon in Courchevel. Skating to Dream On by Aerosmith.
Taking his hands and knees, Adam Hagara, after producing 8 rotated triples in his free skate here.
That was a good performance by Adam. He's certainly lots of polishing still to do in this young man, but that was progress. 2 triple axels in the free program, one with a small error, but still well done.
And just to give context, the triple axel, the most difficult triple, comes in at a base value of 8 points, and that allows his technical element score to start off much stronger than that of the others that we've seen so far.
It's a big step up when, for the men or the women, that they start inserting the triple axel into their program successfully, because it sets you apart. If you can accomplish that, even if there's another mistake somewhere else, you kind of equalize it out a little bit. That is a big point gainer, and it also marks the start of multi-rotational jumps. There's the triple axel right off the top into a double toe loop. So great start, good straight, strong back. Second triple axel right here, gets a good lift off that end of the edge. Great lift up in there, just probably just over-rotated a little bit. Yeah, but keeps the free foot off the ice, so that was well done.
And then this too, digging deep. At this point in the program, confidence was high. You can see his coach applauding him in the back of shot, recognizing that that start to the program was lending itself to a potential personal best for sure. And a very relaxed approach into the triple loop, transitioning in and out, and that's something judges keen to see. Connection between and within the elements. This was unfortunate though. Easiest jump of the program, and the one that he went down on.
And sometimes because it's easy, you take it for granted.
Yeah.
And you're too slow on the checkout. But this is really a good program for this young man and confidence builder for sure. You can see the technical elements, lots of room to polish, straighten the free leg, point the toe, stand up a little bit straighter, all those types of things. As you move into senior, as he is already in senior, you're going to want to polish that up a little bit. But technically, jumps were done today.
Absolutely, and I'm sure without having spoken to Adam or his coach, I'm pretty confident in thinking that his eyes will be set towards the 2026 games in Milan Cortina, and I'm sure his development pathway will be leading towards personal best and his potentially the end of his career, or perhaps he has his eyes set upon 2030 as well, but long-term development plan for these athletes. And at this junction, he's on target, I'm sure.
And great for skaters in Slovakia to have a skater that's coming along so well. You have someone to look up to and be motivated by. Let's take a look at the free program scores for Adam Hagara from Slovakia. 118.61. That's first in the free program. Of course, with the 2 triple axels is a great bonus. 174.70 for the competition as Adam takes over the lead overall.
And one of the cleaner skates in this short program came from Jean Medard from France.
Coached by former world champion Brian Gilbert, will skate to Monsieur, Madame, and farewell.
What is freedom? I asked them these questions many times, but they never responded. And yet, not a day went by without me hearing their whispers. They told me the same nightmares over and over again, which I tried in vain to forget. My mind was so bewildered that all I could hear and see was them. Who should I believe? Where should I go? To be happy, you must listen to yourself, not to their sinister whispers. Don't be afraid to turn the page and write a much more beautiful story. Sort your mind out, clear the negative thoughts, and everything will be better. Have faith in yourself, and bid them farewell.
Jean Medard from France. And to me, I'm so struck by the influence of his coach, Brian Joubert. He has a similar aesthetic on the ice, and
he does.
yeah, he does. And strong, and to me, some wonderful jump technique, just a much simpler technical element score based on the planned program content compared to Adam Hagara, who attempted many more difficult triples.
A little more work on the core strength, keeping that back nice and straight. Help with the super multi rotational jumps, the triple axel and the quads, as his coach used to do.
And you could see throughout the program, Brian cheering him on, knowing how much he can motivate. But look at the length of takeoff length. Very good height and very good length is one of the criteria judges want to see. And this triple sacco, one of the two easier triples, but really well delivered in terms of technique on that.
Has great lift off the ice. It's natural and quick into rotation here. Watch the free leg lift up in the air, right into rotation. And you can see the positions of the landing just a little bit weak and messy a bit. Just work in that area to do. But certainly mechanics of the takeoff, the jump, it's all there for the future quads.
Absolutely. It really does look like a technique that will facilitate the 4 rotations.
And there's his final combination spin, change combination spin in a level 3 at the end of the program.
And as we say, we keep referencing his former world champion as coach Brian Joubert, who is here with him. And it's got to be encouraging for him to have that input from somebody who knows what it takes to be so successful on the elite stage. And that must instill a confidence too for Jean.
The scores, please.
Jean a obtenu un total de
198.29 for Jean Medard from France. That's 4th in the free program with a total competition score of 155.10. That'll put Jean, at least for the moment, into 3rd place.
Which puts him currently in 3rd place.
And the final skater in this 3rd group of 4, Noah Bodenstein from Switzerland.
116.36 personal best in the free program, earning that at the Youth Olympic Games in 2020. As he looks to best that score right now.
The only mistake really coming towards the end of the program there for Noah Bodenstein, who delivered brilliantly in his short program, and consistency evident here after that free skate. Less technical difficulty than the leader, Adam Hagara, who had the triple axels, but for me, much higher program component scores and a wondrous choreography sequence towards the end of the program, demonstrating an obvious physical fitness to be able to deliver that kind of speed and flow towards the end of the program.
This is a huge improvement by this young man. 2019 was the last time we saw him on the Junior Grand Prix, and still a very young man at that time, kind of gangly and wobbly and whatnot, but not now. The coordination is there, the timing is there, the confidence is there. You're seeing a young man progressing into seniors and certainly developing the types of skills and strength and connection to the music, as you mentioned, that you need to be able to move into seniors. Let's take a look at some of the elements here. There's the triple flip, great speed in, beautiful flow. Step up into the double axel. Nicely done.
And there was a definite confidence as he goes into this. It looked like everything was calm, composed, and confident in the knowledge that he could rely upon his training to deliver. There's a butterfly entry into the flying camel, that a difficult feature as he searches for his free leg.
And flexibility, so key, so important. You'll need to work on that moving into seniors. Although the spin is okay, it's slow and needs a bit more flexibility in the hip. As he progresses through the program here, good speed coming down into the triple flip. A little bit later, Euler pushes up into the triple Salchow. Great work.
Yeah, really impressive. And like I say, just such evident confidence in his training. I didn't sense hesitation or doubt.
Or any worry.
No.
Yeah, he was not worried at all. He was in control.
And this was great. Still keeping speed towards the end of the program. Choreography by Benoit showing evident his influence upon Noah. Personal best.
Traveling on that in the last spin.
And then there's a little wobble towards the end.
Great job. Love seeing that improvement of the juniors. It's one of the reasons we love covering the junior category, to watch these young people grow both in the sport and in life. 123.16 first in the free program, not a surprise, with a 184.42 as Noah Bodenstein from Switzerland takes over the lead. 2 thumbs up. Great job.
Sur la glace, continuez l'échauffement.
The following skills will now take the hands for 6 minutes warm-up.
Représentant la France.
Okay, the final group on the ice. Here, Mark. Do we have more questions? You're the master of the question period of time. Take a look at your standings so far after 3 groups.
It's been a good men's event so far, and excited to see what will happen in the final group. Will Japanese skaters be triumphant in both the women and the men's event? We'll find out soon. In the meantime, thank you again for the questions, and we have questions coming in different channels, and one of them, or some of them, from YouTube. And we have Earthling asking, how difficult is it to refrain from commenting on the mic? We've touched on that already, that we can't help but be moved by some of these performances and very excited, and I think that's something we've just got to rein in. You're much better at that than I am, Ted.
How
Staying
is it
calm and
difficult
composed. To refrain from commenting on the mic when the performances are good or bad.
During the performance or after?
I think during the performance.
Yeah, you know, that's okay. Good question. And our philosophy on the junior has always been: listen, the judges pay attention from the beginning of the music to the very end. That's what they need to do, and that's what I want the audience to do. So I don't want to interfere with talking about something that goes by so quickly that you're all of a sudden talking about something that happened in the past. So let's not confuse it. Let's set it up. Let's watch the performance, enjoy the performance, do the analysis after. So I would say this is easier. I had to do Worlds this season, and I found it a little bit challenging to talk to the beginning because I thought people would say, why are you talking during the performance?
Let me enjoy the skating.
Yeah, but got the feel of it, and certainly you have a lot of experience in that.
Absolutely. Another question coming in on Instagram from @Emil_0015. Interesting one, a good one. Does a higher free leg in the air lead to a lower GOE? And the judges have very set criteria. All of the judges officiating at this event have to go through very clear criteria, and there are a list of reductions for errors and poor air position. That requires -1 to -3 reduction in the GOE. So if the skater has a leg wrap.
Yeah, a little bit of history with that. In the old system, 6.0 system, the leg wrap was kind of frowned upon, although there was not a specific deduction. Most often the judge would say, well, that's, you know, not really, and it's going to wobbly in the air. Then when the judging system came in 2002, or 2004, I guess, it wasn't reflected in that. It now is in the air position. So, yes, it does affect it. It slows the rotation down, makes it way more difficult for the athlete.
And it brings us a fascinating technical debate. There's been a lot of debate as to the absolute optimal speed of rotation position. As we look now to our sport transcending into seeing more quadruple jumps, I've heard lots of different theories as to how to increase that speed in the air, and certainly that's something that all of the athletes are looking to do, to squeeze a faster rotational speed with the chances of doing quad jumps.
Two types of jumpers. One that gets a lot of air time might rotate slowly on the way up, fast on the way down, which is harder to check out. And those that don't jump so high but are quick into rotation have a little bit more time to check out on the end.
And I think that's one of the things that's so interesting, seeing on this, the Junior Grand Prix, seeing so many different techniques and approaches to the jumps. So, an interesting one from Tanya Gerasimic. Do you think loop jump must have a higher base value than flip or lose?
Well, personally, I don't. Loop jump takes off of 1 foot. That would be the difficulty because you're only using 1 foot. But it is also more controlled. If you watch a loop jump entry, you'll always see that free leg tucked in front, so there's not a lot of deviation. You can upper body a little bit too much sometimes, but I think the flip jump and the Lutz, they have a complication with the timing of the push-up of the left leg with the picking of the right leg. So the timing is a little bit more difficult. So I think the values are accurate in this case. That's just my opinion. People may have difference.
And all of the skaters have a different preference. Some of the skaters will probably say that their favorite jump is dependent upon the day that they're having.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Different skaters tend to favor others. And it's, as we touched on a little bit yesterday in the women's event, not everyone such a lover of the axel, and that's why we've seen perhaps in the women's event skaters opting to go straight ahead into quad jumps over devotion to the triple axel, which is the more conventional approach. As a generalization, skaters will work on salchows and toe loops first, then the loop, then the flip, then the lutz,
That's right.
and then the axel.
Good questions. Good questions.
Yeah. We've got an educated and intelligent and eager audience, and we love to hear from you.
I hope we're not confusing people.
I know.
Ask the question, going, oh, well.
Did that make it any better, or did that make it worse? So please keep checking in. The hashtag is JGP Figure for this, the Junior Grand Prix Series. And as Ted has said, we will be joining you, sometimes Ted alone, sometimes myself alone, but we'll be helping commentate on this series for the duration of the 7 events, leading towards the Grand Prix final, which will be in December, where the junior skaters that qualify for that event will be able to share the ice with the seniors, who will be on location as well, as the senior Grand Prix final takes place around the same time.
We're at the start of the skating season. 7 weeks of junior, 6 weeks of senior, culminating with the junior and senior Grand Prix final in Torino, and then starts the championship portion of the season with the Europeans and the 4 continents World Championships.
It really, I think it's such an exciting year because we're start of that new Olympic cycle, and so we've seen some amazing battles in the men's. If we looking at the men's event now, in the men's senior ranks over the last 4 years, we saw that wondrous contest between the likes of Yuzuru Hanyu and Nathan Chen. It was fascinating interest for skating fans around the world.
And the next generation will deliver someone else to replace that. We don't know who. And over the next few years, we'll start to see those athletes evolve and emerge.
Wow. Wouldn't it be nice to be a French competitor with the level of support that these athletes have enjoyed, as Ian Vauclin, the 18-year-old from Nice, takes to the ice.
112.57 his personal best last year, right here in Courchevel, hoping to top that 1 year later.
Well done, Ian. Vauclin from France, and he was fifth in this event last year, but didn't have a triple axel when he competed in the free skate 12 months ago in Courchevel. And we've been watching him in practice, and it's been great to watch him training, but he has been popping more triple axels than I've seen him attempt. So that, although there was a mistake, developmentally was, I think, a big step forward. So well done to Ian for having the courage to retake that opening element.
I really felt that he just emerged as a serious contender in, or one of the contenders perhaps in juniors, and you could see the senior potential.
Absolutely.
It was mature skating, some really good technique, some confidence, and some nice flow through the elements. Here's the triple axel. Good back outside edge, good flow. Watch the arms and the free leg go back and lift him off the end of the edge, nice and straight in the air, and just doesn't check out quick enough. But it's there. He's done them, and he'll have them consistently soon. Here's the triple Lutz. A little bit on the lean, has to put the hand down and just steps out of that jump.
After those first two mistakes, did well now. Huge elevation on the triple loop and did really well. Like I say, after those two mistakes.
Love the flying sit spin right after that triple loop and beautiful position, straight up, straight down. Difficult variation there.
Keeping speed.
I put the choreo sequence in for you to comment right after this.
And interesting, judges really high on the grade of execution for this. Beautiful outside spread eagle. And there, Wally type jump there. And keeping flow and glide through that. The Ina Bauer using arm, head, neckline, all being engaged, not just going through the motions, really doing all he can to push both the program components and the GOEs.
And hangs on to that triple flip near the end of the program and finishes out with his another triple flip. Doesn't get up to the double toe loop. Just a little bit too far forward to carry the momentum up into a double.
Did well there to just put the single toe and avoid it being a repeat jump of the solo triple flip he did earlier.
And that sit spin to the camel spin, one of the best. Is just, I know most people don't know skating. They'll say, oh, what's the difference here? Really difficult to keep that speed going from a sit going to a camel.
We're seeing lots of skaters do that as one of the features they require this year, but they do it in a catch camel. And the tighter the position, the easier it is to maintain speed. But Ian keeps the camel outstretched, and we appreciate, both of us appreciate
really
respect
nice,
that. We both like
really
that. In
nice
practice, we
that.
comment
Well,
on that
you
too.
can do it still because you're young. Okay, here we go. Scores for Ian. Free program, 113.95. That's third in the free. With a total competition score 175.44, and that'll put Ian currently into second place overall for the number of skaters yet to come.
Which brings you currently in second place.
And the next skater from America, again, huge interest on YouTube after his wonderful short program. So many appreciating this new skater to the Junior Grand Prix and the qualities that Michael brings to the ice.
It'll be interesting to see. You had a little bit of a shaky practice session in the free, maybe with so much success in the short program, wondering how do I keep that going? So we'll see whether he's been able to gather his strength and confidence and carry that success in the short through the free program right now.
a program of two halves really for Michael Shea from America, and although there were lots of mistakes, I think, in Michael's development and the way his career will progress, landing that opening triple axel cleanly was massive.
To be honest with you, all week long during practice, I've not seen him land it.
Yeah.
And that was the first one. No, he must have done it probably at some point, but I've seen a number of them and not landed. So that was a really solid start. Really good first half of the program, as you mentioned. And then fatigue set in, and they lost a little control. You could see him pushing too hard, and so it started to deteriorate. But certainly the quality had been established. The expertise of this young skater is starting to develop in a really nice way. There's the axle right on top of the landing.
Yeah, you can see the hesitation. That is a relatively new element to him, I'm sure. I love the way he pulled out of that triple loop to keep flow for that double axel. And he had mistakes with this combination of practice as well. But he dug deep there, close to the boards to put the triple toe on the end.
Really stayed with it.
Yeah.
Didn't give up into it. And coming down the ice here for the triple Lutz, you saw a little bit of a stumble there beforehand, but stayed calm, got through the Lutz nicely, pushed up for the triple sow. A little too far forward, the hand has to go down. Beautiful spread eagle.
And we, as we said, so popular with fans and cultivating a fan group already from the short program because he just tired legs there in the landing of the triple loop. So I think on the whole, traveling here to France, there's so many positives to take away for Michael. Not, I'm sure, the performance. I'm sure he will relive mistakes made in the free skate here and be frustrated. But many people around the world probably now excited and keep their eyes peeled for what he will offer as his career develops and progresses.
That's all there. It's just now learning. It's just experience to be gained, and this is one of them.
And in an article about Michael, he described skating as like flying, and I couldn't agree more. And obviously has great love for the sport, and that was very evident, particularly in the short program. Started skating late, as we said, on his 10th birthday, so obviously an incredibly hard worker to graft and get this good this quickly.
And also not bad because you keep that, if you start really early, you might get, I don't mean physically tired, but you get tired of doing the same thing. And then starting at the age of 10, he's energized to keep this career going.
Yeah, the love for the sport is evident. And maybe skating was a choice rather than something his parents suggested it.
Yeah. And here are the free program scores for Michael. Needs a 118 to take the lead. And it's a 114.87. That's third in the free program with a total competition score 180.95 as Michael moves into second overall with 3 skaters to come.
Which brings him currently in second place. Next to skate from Japan, Ryoga Morimoto.
So we enter into the top 3 after the short program as third ranked Ryoga Morimoto from Japan gets ready for his free skate.
Needs 114.97 to take the lead. He's going to skate to opening by Brian Stokes, overture from Man of La Mancha and The Impossible Dream. Some classics to skate to right here, going for a medal.
I love the finish, fantastic, emphatic finish to that powerful, powerful music for Ryoga Morimoto from Japan.
And like most of the other men, you can see partway through the program just a bit of deterioration in their conditioning.
Yeah, there seemed to be a real slump in the middle, and then he came back with a renewed vigor at the end.
Well, the music helps really push you through, especially that piece.
And I think, you know, he must know coming into this that he doesn't have the triple axel and was really needing to dig deep for the triple lutz at the end to up some technical value.
Real passionate performance. And he delivered that at the end of the program to that music as it built to a crescendo. Let's take a look at some of the elements inside the program. This is just the opening double axel. It's not quite there big enough, quick enough for a triple, but I'm sure he's working on it. You see, it's nicely done, but it's a little low.
I love the way he managed to get that triple toe on the end of that loose jump.
Yeah. Great fight. Awareness of where he was in the air, the flip, and toe loop.
Loop was good. The variations seen here on the sit spin and the first of his 3 spin elements. This had so much length.
Great trying to save that axle, save the Salchow, and I wanted to put it in to see how determined he was to get through that combination. Beautiful spread eagle here.
And this was great, wasn't it? At this point in time, he really opened up the projection. There was a midsection where there wasn't really any connection with music, but this, the death drop to give some dynamism, and that great knee slide. I love the finish position as well, and that multi-dimensional movement that judges want for the composition component that starts the judges' 3 program component scores as of this season.
Fighting to move up, currently in 3rd place.
It'll be difficult to keep the performance from Noah Bodenstein at bay. The Swiss skater delivered so brilliantly, but perhaps the lead that Ryoga has from the short program will keep him.
Needs a 1:14.97 to take the lead, which would guarantee him a medal, at least a bronze. 2 skaters to come. There were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 elements under review by the technical panel, so lots of work by them to ensure that the proper positions and rotations and requirements were met. There is 1 downgraded element. In fact, it was the Euler. Here we go, pre-program scores. 119.20, that's second in the free program, but let's see the total competition score, 188.66. And Ryoga earns a medal for sure as he takes over the lead. Grateful.
Yeah, see the joy, wonderful stuff. Love that.
Next to skate from Republic of Korea, Young-hyun Cha.
So the Korean team secured a bronze medal in the women's event yesterday. Young-hyun Cha finds himself coming in to the free skate in the silver medal position.
The most experienced skater in this men's event, 4th year on the Junior Grand Prix circuit, 18 years old. Has not medaled on the Junior Grand Prix, but has the chance to do that right now as he skates to the soundtrack of Dune by Hans Zimmer.
Young-hyun Cha from Korea. And as you said, Ted, this is an 18-year-old in his final year on the junior circuit. And in Ljubljana last year, he was just off the medals in 4th place. Back in 2019, he was in 5th place at a Junior Grand Prix event, and I felt like this was his best chance of securing a medal. And I really enjoyed the performances from Noah Bodenstein, but you feel a bit for somebody who may have just lost that chance.
It's going to be interesting because we don't know what's happening here, but certainly this has been a little bit of the MO of this young man. Really, good skater, little open in the air, so when fatigue sets in, there's mistakes begin to happen and the qualities get a little bit diminished. We'll see whether he hung on to enough of this program to grab that medal. Don't know that he'll have enough to stay in the silver position. We'll see. We'll find out in just a few moments.
And that lead that he has coming into the free skate over Noah Bodenstein could be crucial, as we see the opening. It's just these little step outs. The judges have to go down in grade of execution, dropping the value of the element. The loop was lovely though. That an indication of his quality. So we see him stepping up into the loops, which he salvaged there with the double toe in combination.
In that combination near the end of the program, under rotation, downgraded fall. Triple flip after that, hangs on with a 3-turn, steps up into the double axel, hangs on to that. Little sloppy on the on the landings, of course.
And that just affecting or an impact of the altitude and the physical exertion of this.
He just needs a 1:18.42 to take the lead, so that may be achievable.
And that would be such a celebration for the Korean. As I say, final year on the Junior Grand Prix circuit.
And been close. And will this be the year that he steps onto the podium? We'll find out right now.
His coach jubilant last night with her young star landing triple axel in the women's event and getting a bronze medal. Will the same happen for Young-hyun Cha?
And here we go. Fingers crossed for this young man to grab a medal. Needs a 1:18.42 to take the lead and does that with spades. No problem there. 1:25.90 as Young-hyun Cha from Korea takes over the lead with a 1:96.15. There it is. He's got the silver for sure.
Fantastic. A delighted coach.
Yeah, she's going, give me, come on. Oh, there we go. That's great.
Last escape from Japan, Shunsuke Nakamura.
Shunsuke Nakamura comes into the free skate with a comfortable lead over the others. The best skating skills in the short program, so look out for some wonderful flow and glide across the ice in the free skate.
Just needs a 1:18.48 to take home the gold. That quest starts right now.
Well, if you see and have been watching the technical element scores in the top left-hand corner of your screen, you will have seen that Shunsuke Nakamura matched the current leader with 3 elements remaining, indication that the level of difficulty in this program was so much higher than that of the others we've seen, and the only quad that we have seen at this event, and I think a comfortable win for the Japanese skater.
Yeah, that gold medal was in the bag pretty early on in the program, you know, after all those technical elements. But he kept everything going. He didn't back off of anything. He was going for every element in the highest degree of difficulty that he could perform. A nice smile coming off the ice here. Let's take a look at some of these elements. The quad toe at the beginning of the program didn't work out as planned exactly. We'll see what happens here. Great speed coming down the ice. Lined this up perfectly, back up over the pick, and just a little bit too far back on the heel on the landing. The triple axel right after that, no problem. Triple S, triple toe up next. That was nice. Not a lot of flow through that element, but still, nevertheless, well done. The triple flip, of course, no problem. Beautiful flow on the landing there. Second triple axel, triple toe loop. This is what surprised me a little bit later in the program.
And there you see Ryoga Morimoto cheating him on by, oh, that was hard. Wally the other direction. Really difficult transition leading into then that, the triple Lutz Euler, triple salto.
He's so quick into rotation, even if the takeoff's a little bit off, he's able to get around those jumps.
That a common theme between he and his training mate, Ryoga, both managing to put triple combinations in there where others might not. Just a little early on the music for the finish, not the same dynamism that he might have desired, but he was 25th in Japanese senior men's championships, the national championships, so I'm sure the drive and push towards the end of the program was to secure a higher score to put him in more contention to be considered for.
He's on the rise.
Yeah.
This young man is on the rise, and so I think we're only seeing the start of his progression and transition into seniors. Free program scores are 141.97. He's quite a few. Well, you know, you had this early on. 219.65 for Shunsuke of Japan, first overall champion here, week 1 in Courchevel. There's a look at the top 5 finishers in the men's event. As we'll take a look at the final standings. Overall, your impressions, Mark?
Well, a comfortable 23-point lead for Shunsuke Nakamura, and wonderful to see some quad jumps here performed in Courchevel.
Great to see the Korean skater grabbing that silver after 4 years on the Junior Grand Prix.
It's a lovely story.
Congratulations. Nice move up for David Lee up into the top 10, young man from Canada.
And a great experience for all those a little further down the rankings as well.
Well, that concludes our coverage of the men's free program. Up next will be the free dance. And your expertise will be called upon, your passion for the dance event indeed. So thank you for joining us in the men's free program here. You're watching live coverage of the final day of coverage of the ISU Junior Grand Prix week 1 here in Courchevel. Up next, the free dance. Stay with us.